come on. Fire! Fire! It's the Fire Tablet 8 and the Fire 10 HD! Review! Yeah!
Tablets are odd things. Basically a big second phone you have lying around that makes your mobile activities more akin to a TV. However, obviously, tablets move way easier than TVs, and unless lying right next to someone, is just ever only a personal device. Now, why I'm reviewing these two devices at once is mainly because of how identical they are. And for those who want to save around $50 or so, may want to know if the Fire Tablet HD8 is good enough, or even better maybe. Oddly, the Fire Tablet HD8 build quality kinda is better. With a small twist of pressure, the 8 has no problem and feels as solid as can be. The 10 HD, however, while solid feeling, creaks here and there when you twist it. Now despite that, it does feel sturdy, because both are finished in a nicely textured plastic on the back of the chassis, which is really good in the hands with glass in the front for both the devices with a necessary plastic lip of protection. They both have the power and volume controls on the side, which trips up everyone I handed these to for the first few times you use them, but once you get used to them, they are very intuitive. Just read it first, with a bonus of a micro SD card slot on the other side with a pair of flanking dual speakers, which sound very clean. But for cheap tablets, the ergonomics are great, especially the HD8, comfortable to hold in one hand and just flat out comfortable to use. As the 10 HD still is mighty comfortable, but the phone aspect ratio shows on this, feeling like a giant phone in the hand, where you're most likely going to have to use both of your hands to hold this for watching video, or have to lie on your chest even. Now briefly, the unboxing. Both come in identical packaging, with a decently long cable and a power brick, which actually isn't all that common for tablets to come with. They do come in 4 different colors, and honestly, the white is super handsome, and I wish I ordered both of them in this color. But the only difference you notice from the two in the unboxing is the size, and most importantly, and obviously, the screen size. From the two, I would rather watch video on the 10 HD for obvious reasons. Despite the name, only the 10 is the full HD 1080p, while the 8 is 720p, which is noticeable on devices this big. On top of that, despite the 10 HD being a little less comfortable to hold, because the phone aspect ratio, it pays off. In most videos, having way smaller black bars than a lot of other tablets would. Being the only one of the two that I'd recommend for movie watching. As the HD8 does great for YouTube and TV shows, its screen is just a bit too small for the massive crop of cinema films. But as a cheap all-in-one book reader, this is the clear winner. However, I must note for those who've never had a tablet before, cropping in a lot of content is to be expected. I personally go out of my ways to make sure my videos are in a 2:1 aspect ratio. For people watch on phones more often than they do tablets or TVs. Decisions like this reflect into certain websites and apps even, and many popular content creators choose this aspect ratio as well. If you get a tablet, even an iPad, expect to have a weird look of a website or app once in a while. Tablets are just not popular enough, mature enough, or really high market enough for a lot of developers to pay special attention to. What you personally pay attention to on a device the most is performance. Now, neither of these are laptop replacements. You aren't spending that much for these. But despite the specs on both of them, they perform well, very well. I never had a long enough pause or freeze where I thought this was underpowered. Videos, Twitter, websites, and articles, this does a very competent job. Too competent for its price tag, really. The reason that at full price the 10 HD is $150, or often than not $100 on sale, and the 8 HD is $100, or again, even $60 on sale, is because of the heads on the device. It allows these to be a bit better than they should for the price. Now, these ads are exclusively for your lock screen. They aren't all that annoying, but it's the biggest thing that ever slows down this device. And switching to portrait or landscape in the orientation causes it to stutter and produce black zones in the lock screen momentarily once in a while. But it does knock down the price a bit, making these devices have a better build, specs, and software maturity than Android tablets around this price. And trust me, it's very noticeable. Coming from the Lenovo M10 HD, which I did my very first review on, and it even costs more than these. And it performed way worse. Heck, if you're a Prime member, you can even do payments for 5 months to make these just an easy splurge if you wish. They both have a kids edition, just for around 20 to 50 bucks more, which is worth it, but more of that later in just a bit. Also, another thing why the price is this low is the software. First of all, it is Android, but as far from stock Android as possible. You don't even have the Google Play Store. Rather, Amazon's own App Store, which has nearly every app that the Google Store has. But a few you may love may not be there, including even my own university's app, which unfortunately is missing from this app store. Well, it has its own app for pretty much everything. And despite that being a little uncomfortable coming from one corporation, I have to admit, they are pretty much all very competent. If you use Kindle or Audible like myself, you have your most recent books show up on your screen, at least on the HD8, as the 10 doesn't do this that often for some reason. The home pages feel a bit static and overly dumbed down for a very young or very old audience, honestly. Which that brings to my biggest gripe. And my biggest gripe is that I can't customize this tablet anywhere enough to make me feel right at home coming off my phone. And of course the lock screen ads, not because they're ads themselves, but the 1 second of fading in from the ad to the phone's operating system when you start it up every single time. For many of you, this may be the devices you are looking for your kids, or just even a gift really. But for families, if your kid is 10 and under, the HD8 is the one I'd recommend. The kids edition are around $20 to $50 premium, but even without the edition, the 8 has a better build quality and a smaller screen, can take a bit more abuse versus a large surface area of glass on the 10. Now, while they both have cameras front and back, and honestly, they're very bad, but super easy to use. And if you need to capture a moment that you don't want to forget, these will get the job done at least. Here are a few more camera samples before we close this off. Now this is a very long video for me, and thanks for sticking along. If you liked the video, please consider subscribing, as long reviews like this are a bit hard and very time consuming to make. But I digress. For the question of should you buy the HD8 or 10 HD, the answer is yes, for a lot of people. It's very affordable and easy to use, as long as you don't want a drawing tablet or laptop replacement. You can save hundreds of dollars by not going to Microsoft and Apple's offerings. I personally lean towards the 10 HD, as it just felt more comfortable to use when it came to what's on the screen. The HD8, however, is the cheapest good small tablet I can think of, really. If you think the iPad mini is too expensive, which it is, and that's your style, I can't recommend the 8 enough. There even is a slightly more expensive and powerful model with wireless charging if you choose. Although the normal HD version is plenty tablet enough. I must say though, I am impressed with these tablets, and as long as you set your expectations reasonably well with small issues here and there, I can recommend both of these confidently. Thankfully, especially, the Fire 10 HD is the easiest tablet I can recommend and is the one I'd get out of the two. Thank you for watching. I'm Mark Jr. Please consider subscribing, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.